All right, to help you get started with molecular DNA protein evidence worksheet, here we go. This is one of the pieces of evidence that scientists use to support the theory of evolution. Many vertebrates, which just means they have a backbone, all have hemoglobin, and the structure of that hemoglobin is coded for in our DNA. We have hemoglobin as well, of course, and so they think that the more similar the DNA for that hemoglobin means the closer related those organisms are. So that's kind of right here. Looking at an organism's gene for a protein tells us how similar the protein will be. So we have two different genes that we're going to look at in this worksheet. We're going to do the hemoglobin gene, and then down here we have the cytochrome gene. And so we do the same process with each of these. So I will start with the first one. And we are going to compare two organisms at a time. So I'm going to start with comparing the dog and the trout. So I'm just going to look at those two lines. And I'm going to kind of go, of course, these are our bases, adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, and I'm going to look at and count differences. So here is one difference, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 differences in that gene between the trout and the dog. And then I'm going to go and select two different organisms. Eventually you're going to do dog and trout, trout and iguana, trout and toad, trout and chicken. And that's where you put those in that column right there. We also have to go through and do like dog and toad. So if I look for differences there, I'm going to see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that was dog and toad. So I definitely counted wrong. There are 7 differences there. Okay, to kind of get how this is going to work, maybe it might help if you highlight the rows you're comparing. So if I'm going to compare the iguana and the chicken, maybe highlight those 2 rows and then find differences there. So there was 1, and only 1. So iguana and chicken would be that column right there. Okay, so you need to fill in the rest of these differences. So compare one organism to the next, and then complete these answers. If the organisms are closely related, so the most closely related, that is going to imply that they are very similar DNA. If they are not very closely related, then that is going to mean there are several differences in their DNA. Okay? Again, compare 2 organisms at a time, and hopefully that kind of helps you get started. The second part 2, is the exact same process, but with a different gene. So instead of hemoglobin, we're looking at the cytochrome C gene. But again, it's the same process. And then one question, kind of conclusion question at the end to summarize any things that you've learned. Okay, so again, I hope that helps you out a bit.